Hello and welcome. Patrice here. Super excited to have a conversation with you about momentum and why it's probably the missing piece to what you're working on right now. I've had conversations with a ton of you, and you're like, I feel like I'm doing all the right things. I'm showing up, I'm consistent, I'm doing all the things I used to do. Like, why is it not tracking? Like, why am I not getting the sales, the conversions, the market attention? And so, we're going to talk a little bit about what changed this year, how you can fix it, and I have some good news because it's not going to take as much effort as you think. So let's get right onto it. What changed this year? 2025 will go down in history as a game changer in marketing. We had two major factors come into play that are impacting all of us if we're honest. The first is overstimulation. There's so much content. And I don't know if you've noticed this. I want you to go test it out if you haven't noticed this just yet. But the last year, maybe two, but last year for sure, marketing did change. And instead of us being fed content from who we follow, which we saw that change years ago, right? It went from whoever you follow to whoever was popular, right? So if someone was getting a lot of engagement, kind of regardless of what was going on, you probably were going to see them. So you could call a friend and say, have you seen such and such? Or do you know who such and such is? And they probably would say yes, because we were all being fed content that was just doing really well. Well, in the last year or so, we've been introduced to what's called interest-based marketing, right? Interest-based marketing means that you're not getting fed what's popular. You honestly might get fed a smaller video from a smaller creator, but the whole premise is the algorithm has figured out what you like, and they're just going to feed you more of exactly what you like. Now, this is great news, and we're going to come to why this is in just a bit, but hint, hint, you don't have to be a big creator. You don't have to get all the engagement in the world. You literally just have to tell the algorithm how you want to be seen, perceived, and what SEO terms apply most to you and the people who you want to have a conversation with, right? Now, with that, especially if you're in high ticket sales or you have a high ticket offer, number two is going to be market sophistication. We no longer are throwing money at our problems as business owners or any other challenge that we have, right? So whether you are business to business or you serve some other type of demographic, type of person, we're not just throwing money at our problems because there's an offer online with all these promises, right? We're now making decisions a lot differently. So let's go into the solution, right? Let's get right onto it. What can you do? So I took notes. Number one, this is something that we've always done and I've always taught, but I want to just ingrain this a little bit more because it really does tie into this newer market leaning into interest-based marketing. Your marketing approach should be what I consider a coffee conversation. And I know some of y'all are going to smile and be like, we know, Patrice, we know. A coffee conversation is very much tailored to the person who is watching, right? The person who is listening. When I'm having a cup of coffee with you, I'm not talking about a ton of other people. I am zeroed into your experience, your story, your voice, and what it is that you want to accomplish, right? We're catching up over coffee. We're talking about our dreams and aspirations. We're talking about what it is that we're going to do next. This is our personal update. And that coffee conversation used to happen a little bit further down the marketing funnel. So it used to happen a little bit more into your emails or if you were having an event. And so it always existed, but we were able to produce content to kind of showcase our expertise. And then when people came into our brand, we would have that more intimate conversation that would lead to a sales call as quickly as we could, right? Sometimes it was right away. Sometimes it would be after an event or some other type of conversion activity. But now that coffee conversation has to happen a lot sooner. We want to know, not just that you know what you're talking about, because that's not enough. We want to know, do you know what I need? Are you able to create a custom solution for me? And I don't want to have to dig through all of your offers. I don't want to dig through all of your courses. I don't have to be, in the midst of a group or community thing to just hopefully eventually find that unique solution. I really want to know, can you help me? And you got like a few seconds as I'm scrolling to show me that you get it. And so what that looks like is our messaging pillars. You want to look at them as, again, 3 unique people. Don't just have 3 things that you can do or 3 offers, 3 anything else besides your messaging pillars being those coffee conversations. So I'm going to give you an example, right? If I am a postpartum mom coach, right? I help moms after they have their babies. I'm not just going to talk about pregnancy now in my content as much, right? I may not talk about being a mom in general. I may not talk about my kids being in kindergarten and all these things I know about the different phases of motherhood. I'm going to figure out not just what you want to hear, but like, who am I talking to? So I'm going to narrow it down. My ideal client, if I am a postpartum mom, right, who is needing a coach, I'm going to be like, okay, well, what about the mom who is in a different city than their family? That's ideal for me, right? You're more likely to need support and be willing to invest in it if that person is not close to family, friends, or a community. They need someone unique, right? And I'm going to think about the others, like very specific type of person in their circumstances, and think about them from, again, that standpoint. And so that way your messaging pillars can really be now this interest-based marketing, right? I'm able to get right into what you're interested in. So now the conversation might be, or my blog or my YouTube video is going to surround around this very unique conversation about being a mom, being pregnant, and not being close to family members. Right? So now when you're scrolling and you got these 2-3 seconds before someone is using their finger to swipe, our fingers are fast now, you're like, oh no, wait, that's exactly me. That's exactly what I'm going through. And I'm going to stick with these 3 pillars, but these 3 profiles, right? So instead of messaging pillars, I'm going to look at them like messaging profiles. Who am I talking to? Who am I literally messaging each time I post? Like, your post should feel like you DM to them. That's the best way I can explain it to you. Each post should feel like you DM'd that particular person. But that's not where we stop, because that's just the messaging part. That's not the sophistication part, right? And so our call to action, we've sophisticated out of call to action, if I'm honest, right? Still works depending on what industry you're in, but if you serve other business owners, depending on what platform and who you're serving, again, we've outgrown it. And so you're going to have to give them something different to chew on to help them see that your solution really is custom made for them in some way, shape, or form, or it can be custom based off of their circumstances. So I crossed out CTA and I wrote in CTB, call to binge. This means having smaller calls to action with smaller form content that allows them to see, you get me, you're having a coffee conversation the minute you turn your camera on or you type to me. Of course, video is going to be cheap here, but you're having this custom conversation and your call to action is no longer just that where I want to go to the sales page. No, your content is now your sales page. Okay, your content should literally itemize the different pieces that your sales page, your landing page was going to cover. Okay, so now we have these small calls to binge. This could be a longer blog. It could be your Substack. Substack is a great example if you've ever gone on the platform, and I'm working on creating content for it myself. But as I've studied it, I'm like, this is a great example of call to binge. You give people that specific information that they are looking for, and they get to a point where they want to opt in. This is their call to binge. You read this, you liked it, it applied to you, and you're inviting them to go deeper. So now your call to action is just for them to go deeper, to learn more, to now invest in the solution that initial coffee conversation, that interest-based marketing led them into. So hopefully I drove that point home as to what has changed in marketing and what you can do about it. But the reason why I'm excited about it, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything here, is that this means that you can go into what I like to call micro niching, right? And y'all have probably seen me talk about this before. This has always been implemented in my marketing in some way, shape, or form. And it just means that you are segmenting your audience. Write that down. In order for you to close, if you're launching something, you don't want to just post spray and pray. Like, that just doesn't work anymore. And I've seen some really brilliant business owners. I'm making sure I'm talking slow enough here. Some really brilliant business owners showcasing, graphics are on point, copy is fire, they're consistent, they're showing up, everything looks amazing, but their call to action was too direct. If I'm honest, there was no call to binge. They couldn't learn more. They really weren't getting that extra hug from that marketing funnel to say, yeah, I'm in. this is exactly what I need. It's not close to what I need. It's not at or around what I need. It is exactly what I need. This feels like I called you and you made something based off of our phone call, right? And that's just part of your marketing funnel. So again, don't spend as much time. Like, I will put up a landing page for Made for Momentum because y'all have already been part of my momentum process. I get to do that. It can come in your marketing process, but it cannot be this like small, I'm just going to post, I'm going to give y'all the page to pay, and that's it. You're not going to see the momentum that you want to see from that. Okay. So your job, as we log off here, your job is to create marketing that creates conversations, right? That's it. Creates conversations, makes them want to talk to you or talk amongst themselves. That's what stands out right now on social media. And what makes people talk is what they're already interested in. What are they already looking into, already know that they're invested in, or your hooks are letting them know you are interested in what I'm talking about because I get you. The hook just means, again, I know what you're interested in. That's all it is. A hook, just, I'm gonna say it again. All a hook is saying is that I know what you're interested in. And it makes you want to come in, come learn more. And now you're giving them those what? Calls to binge. So they can now binge on what they now are interested in. And your content is your sales page. Your content is giving them each component that you would have already given them in a landing or sales page. So if you just do decide to still make one, they've already seen it, they've already heard it, they've already confirmed what they see. So they now are ready to invest. So if you're watching this and you're like, I'm ready to create momentum. Like, for me, this has been one of my best years in business because inquiries are still coming in. My inbox is still lighting up. I'm still getting invitations to speak. I'm getting invitations to be guest coaching in other areas and opportunities. You know, I'm getting clients coming in who are like, I need what you have and I want that for you too. I don't want y'all to work so hard. So we're going to talk about 3 things in Made for Momentum. First, we're going to do a good old audit. Okay, we're going to look through what you're doing and see, as times have changed, what can we do in your content and your approach to make sure that you are able to be heard and seen, right? Number 2, we're going to dive a little bit deeper again into your overall content system. How are you presenting your messaging? Where is that coming from? Let's make a content calendar. That's the main go-to here. What type of content should your brand be known for? And this isn't just social media. This is your email marketing, etc. What are we having conversations around, and what feels like a hug to your content, your clients, right? Sorry, your clients. What feels like that next step in that coffee conversation that they want to sit and talk with you? And last but not least, we're going to go into what I call your hidden profit system. Are you set up to continue to have these CTBs, these calls to binge, so people can learn more about what they want to know from you, right? So for me, well, it's so hard for me specifically. I love all things marketing. I'm always studying. I can teach y'all a ton of stuff, right? But you may not be interested in everything I have to offer. Am I giving you opportunities to lean in more and learn just about AI, just about momentum, just about content, like whatever it is that you're like, no, I need that from you, Patrice? There's opportunities to learn more there and invest where you need more support. So if you're interested, I would love to send you more info on Made for Momentum. I would love to make sure that as we go into Q4, we go into the end of the year, we're going into Black Friday. Y'all have made some amazing offers and you have amazing things to offer. Let's make sure we create the momentum so they get the recognition they deserve. Talk to you soon.